the 7 natural wonders of the world: the Grand Canyon, the Great Barrier Reef, Mount Everest, the Northern Lights, the Pericutime volcano, and the harbor of Rio de Janeiro. But of course, it is the presence of the mighty Victoria Falls, known by the locals as Mosuatunya.
The Zambezi River water levels start rising during the rainy season, which begins in December and lasts until March. As the flow of water towards the falls begins to accelerate, the curtain of water becomes more intense, catapulting the spray high into the sky. July and August, the height of the dry season, brings sunny days, cool nights, and a peak in visitor numbers. With water in the Zambezi dropping to mid-level, the true scale of the Victoria Falls can be fully appreciated. If you look below, you will see the famous Victoria Falls, named after Queen Victoria of England. At the time of our reign over 150 years ago, missionary David Livingstone was exploring the region when he began to hear a roar from a distance. As the roar grew louder and louder until on 16th November 1855, he saw one of the 7 wonders of the world. The falls are 1.7 kilometers wide, that's a mile and a quarter. At its highest point, the water falls 108 meters of 3,500 feet. The Victoria Falls has 4 main streams, thus Zimbabwe west to Zambia east. These streams are the Devil's Cataract, the Main Falls, the Rainbow Falls, and the Eastern Cataract. Livingstone Island is a protected World Heritage Site and the place from which David Livingstone first saw the mighty Victoria Falls in 1855. It sits on the very edge of the Victoria Falls. Devil's Pool is usually open between August to January, but the exact time depends on the water levels. Taking a deep edge into this natural infinity pool which peeks over the edge of the Victoria Falls is a heart-pumping experience that is actually safer than it looks. When the water level is too high for the Devil's Pool, it may still be possible to swim in the Angel's Pool, which is smaller and not so deep. The big bridge you see was built in 1905, and today it is where the bungee jumpers throw themselves off. The bridge was commissioned by Cicero as part of his dream to connect Cape Town to Cairo by railway. Rhodes requested that the bridge be built here because he wanted the train's passengers to feel the spray on their faces while they're going past, all part of the experience of the Victoria Falls. Below the bridge is a place called the Boiling Pot. You can see why. This is where the water from both sides of the falls meet and where the white water rafters start their daily journey. Over the last 100,000 years, the Zambezi River has cut previously existing waterfalls into the rock that make the Batoka and Insongwe Gorges. It is the Batoka Gorge that houses Zambia's oldest hydroelectric power station. Zambia is the source of the mighty Zambezi River we are now flying over. The Zambezi River is around 2,700 kilometers long, and at this point, we're about 1,007 kilometers away from the source in northern Zambia. The Zambezi River is the fourth largest river in Africa, and during its course, it runs through Zambia, Angola, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique before flowing into the Indian Ocean. The river is famous for the world-class fishing, bird life, and wildlife it supports, and the rich culture of people that live near its banks. The river is split by the Kalai and Long Islands. Prior to the arrival of the railway and the building of the Victoria Falls Bridge, the Zambezi River was crossed above several established ferry points. The most important crossing was 9 kilometers from the falls, where the river was at its narrowest, about 1 kilometer in width and at its depth, allowing the larger craft and heavier loads to be transported. The crossing was known by the European settlers as the Old Drift, having been the traditional crossing point controlled by Chief Sekute and the people who inhabited the large islands of the river.